Okay, yo, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be recapping February 10th, 2026 trades and the trade that I took. So let's get started on the high time frame. On the daily, we are very bullish. We have disrespected this daily gap, and even though we edged this previous week low, it doesn't really matter because we're just placing up. So I consider this high resistance because we're rejecting from it. Onto the 4 hour. You can see we're clearly disrespecting bearish gaps, creating bullish gaps and respecting them, and overall trending higher towards this previous day high, which is also my drawn liquidity. So we were easily disrespecting bearish and respecting bearish. So this was my drawn liquidity for the day. Onto the 15-minute time frame, mid time frame, we're still very bullish. We're accumulating here a bit, but it was still pretty obviously bullish. And now to the setup that I took. Let me just get there. Okay, 9 o'clock. Right here. Switch this out. Okay, yeah. So about a 1-to-1 right here. So you can see that we entered, we got stopped out, and then everything ran to our TPs. So basically what this idea was off of was we tapped into this 4 hour gap, and then we also swept the 1 hour internal low with an SMT. So ES and NQ, or no, ES took this low and ES didn't. So ES was still in a form of manipulation with the 30-minute gap, but we had an SMT here. Then we had our highest time frame inversion, which was this 1 minute. So then that's what I entered off of. And this was a very bad trade. I did not realize it in the moment, but I'm gonna tell you some of the things that were really bad about this trade and what was also good about this trade. So overall, I lost $250 on this trade. What was good about the trade was that we had a healthy close. We completely disrespected this gap. 15 points was really good. And what else we had was the SMT at the 4 hour gap. And then we also had a 5-minute gap up here that I was targeting. So there's a reason to go to my take profit. What was bad about this trade is that we didn't have any LRL to target, and I traded IFEGs with stop hunt, and I thought this was a stop hunt, but I learned now that stop hunts shouldn't, if they're in this direction, they shouldn't go all the way down here and then disrespect and shoot up. They should have a not immediate reaction, but after taking this low, we shouldn't have went bearish again. We shouldn't have a bearish candle to the downside again. We should have pushed up here and displaced upwards. So that's a mistake. So this was not a proper stop hunt. The second thing was that, let me just check my notes. Probably one of the worst things was that we had a 15-minute gap below. So you always want to be scaling down to the lower time frames to find different the best area of rejection, and that's what I didn't do today. So you can see we're in the 4 hour gap. I kind of disregarded that. I just looked, we're in the 4 hour gap, we should distribute from here. But if you look on the 15-minute, we have this small 15-minute gap right here. So we go back onto the entry. you can see that we completely edge the 15-minute gap right here, and then we stop me out, and then we go up. So this was probably one of the worst things. And then another thing to add on top of that was that I was entering a few minutes before a high time frame candle opens, so I entered at 9:44. So at 9:45, 15-minute candle opening, it's a high time frame candle. It couldn't manipulate, and especially if it has a reason to manipulate right here, like it did to this 15-minute gap, then just makes the trade way worse. And then let's move on to the next setup that happened, which was this 30-second IFEG around here. This was a really good setup. Why? Because we had an SMT here. There's no reason to go lower. We hit this 15-minute gap, and we also have a perfect stop hunt. This is the stop hunt I'm talking about. Immediate reaction or displacement. We hit this low, the internal low, and then we automatically displace up. But I didn't take this because I only take one trade a day, and I don't take 30-second IFEGs. But if you took this was really good, and you easily hit TP. And I'll show you guys to my journal